God says, your blessings from heaven have been taken away, and the one who did this is none other than your. God says, your blessings from heaven have been taken away, and the one who did this is none other than your own habits and the path you forgot which heaven placed before you. My child, hear this without fear and without shame. I am not speaking to condemn you, but to awaken you gently. What was given to you was real. The doors that opened were not an illusion. The protection you once felt was not imagination. Heaven truly walked beside you, guiding your steps, steadying your heart, lighting the road ahead. But slowly, quietly, you turned your eyes away. Not because you were evil, not because you were unworthy, but because you grew tired, distracted, and unsure of your own worth. At first it was small. A habit you told yourself did not matter. A choice you said you would fix later. A compromise you believed was harmless. You did not notice when the path narrowed, when the light dimmed slightly, when your heart felt heavier than before. Heaven did not leave you suddenly. Grace lingered. Mercy waited. Warnings were whispered softly through discomfort, delays, and restlessness in your spirit. But you learned to ignore that voice. You learned to quiet it with noise, excuses, and comfort. And in doing so, you stepped away from what was meant to carry you forward. Do not misunderstand me. No one stole your blessings with force. No enemy overpowered heaven. What was taken happened because what was given was left unattended. Blessings need alignment to remain. They need obedience, humility, and remembrance. When you forgot the path heaven placed before you, you began walking in circles. When you repeated habits that drained you, you fed the very things that blocked your growth. You watered what should have been uprooted. You entertained what should have been released. And slowly, the flow stopped. You wondered why doors closed that once stood open. You questioned why effort brought no fruit. You prayed and felt silence where warmth once lived. This was not punishment. This was consequence. Heaven did not strike you down. Heaven stepped back and allowed you to feel the weight of walking without guidance, so you would understand the value of the path you abandoned. Even now, this message comes not to shame you, but to remind you. Awareness itself is mercy. Your habits shaped your days, and your days shaped your direction. The way you spoke to yourself mattered. The things you consumed mattered. The people you allowed close mattered. The promises you broke to yourself mattered. Each time you said a heaven heard a not now. Each time you chose comfort over courage, the path grew harder to see. You began to move without intention, react instead of choose, survive instead of build. And blessings meant for a prepared heart waited, because they could not rest on a distracted one. Still, hear me clearly. Nothing is lost forever. What was taken can be restored, but not by pretending nothing happened. Restoration requires honesty. You must look at your habits without excuses. You must admit where you drifted. You must acknowledge the moments you knew better and chose otherwise. This is not to break you. This is to free you. Truth is the doorway back to alignment. Beloved child of the light, we, the angels of divine guidance, speak to you now from the eternal realms where time bends to heaven's will. Heaven placed a path for you that matched your soul, not your fears. It was crafted with exquisite care, thread by thread, in the loom of eternity, aligning perfectly with the unique blueprint of your spirit. This path was not forged for the timid whispers of doubt that sometimes cloud your heart, nor for the shadows of anxiety that creep in during the quiet hours. No, it was designed for the radiant essence of who you truly are, a soul destined for greatness, woven from the same divine fire that ignited the stars. This path required discipline, not perfection. Oh, how we have watched you strive for flawlessness, chasing an impossible ideal that left you weary and broken. Perfection is a mirage, a trick of the ego that keeps you spinning in circles. Discipline, however, is the steady rhythm of the heart attuned to heaven's song. It is the daily choice to rise when the bed feels too warm, to speak truth when silence is easier, to pray when distractions pull you away. We angels have whispered these truths in your ear during moments of stillness, haven't we? That soft nudge in your spirit, the unexplained resolve to begin again. These are our voices, urging you toward the disciplined walk that builds eternal strength. Faithfulness, not speed, was the currency of this path. You are not racing against others, my dear one. Heaven measures progress by the loyalty of your heart, not the miles you cover in a day. Speed belongs to the world, with its frantic deadlines and fleeting accolades. Faithfulness is the quiet flame that burns through seasons of drought, the unwavering commitment to show up, day after day, even when the harvest seems distant. Remember the parable of the talents? The faithful servant did not rush or boast, he simply stewed faithfully with what was entrusted to him. So it is with you. Your soul's path rewards the steady heartbeat of devotion, not the sprint of impatience. You thought you had more time. You thought you could pause obedience and resume it later, like picking up a book left midway on the shelf. But spiritual momentum does not wait. It is a living river, flowing ceaselessly from the throne of grace. When you stop walking forward, something else fills the space. And that something those subtle drifts into distraction, the slow creep of old habits slowly pulls you backward, even if you do not notice it happening at first. We angels have seen this too many times. Souls who step aside for just a moment, only to find the path overgrown with thorns of complacency. The backward pull is not punishment, it is the natural gravity of a world untethered from divine alignment. But hear us now, it is never irreversible. The river of momentum can be re-entered, though the current may feel stronger for the delay. You are not weak for falling into habits. You are human, beautifully fragile, carrying the weight of free will in a broken world. Those late nights scrolling endlessly, the unspoken resentments you nurture, the skipped prayers that pile like unread letters, these are the common stumbles of mortality. We do not judge you for the fall, we ache with you for the staying. You are responsible for staying there, yes, but responsibility is not a chain, it is a key. Heaven does not force growth. It invites it, with the gentleness of dawn breaking over mountains. And you were invited many times. Through restlessness that kept you tossing at night, through repeated cycles of highs and crashes that left you hollow, through the quiet ache that told you this life was smaller than what you were meant to live. You felt it, deep in your bones. You knew it, like a half-remembered dream from before birth. That knowing was heaven calling you back, our wings brushing your soul to awaken what slumbers. Now listen closely, for we draw near with a message of restoration. The same God who allowed the blessing to be taken is the God who can return it multiplied, refined, more glorious than before. We have witnessed miracles of return, prodigals welcomed home with open arms, barren fields blooming after long winters. But the return will not come the same way. It will not come through shortcuts, those illusory ladders promising quick ascent. Nor through emotional promises, the tearful vows made in the heat of conviction that fade with the morning light. And certainly not through temporary change, the superficial swaps that leave the root untouched. No, true return arrives when you realign your daily life with the path you once ignored. Picture it, your habits beginning to match your prayers. No longer do you plead for breakthrough while clinging to procrastination. Instead, your mornings start with scripture, your evenings with gratitude. Your actions begin to agree with your words, euro, declaring abundance while stewarding what you have, speaking peace while releasing grudges. When you choose the difficult right over the easy wrong, even when no one is watching, even in the hidden corners of your heart where temptation whispers loudest. We angels stand guard in those moments, cheering your victories, dispatching reinforcements of strength when you falter. You do not need to punish yourself. Self-flagellation is a thief that steals joy and breeds despair. Heaven calls you to return, not to grovel. Return to discipline, that faithful companion you set aside. Return to stillness, where our whispers become clear amid the noise. Return to listening, tuning your spirit to the frequency of divine instruction. Return to the small obediences you once dismissed, euro, the 5-minute prayer, the honest conversation, the act of forgiveness that costs your pride. Heaven is not asking for grand gestures, those dramatic displays that burn bright but flicker out. It is asking for consistency, the thread that weaves destiny. One corrected habit sows the seed. One honest choice waters it. One step back onto the path, even if your legs are shaking and doubt screams retreat, euro, heaven steadies you there. Do not be discouraged by how far you think you have gone astray. Distance does not scare heaven, we traverse galaxies in an instant. What seems like miles to you is but a breath to the divine. Delay does not erase calling. Your purpose was etched before the foundations of the world, no detour can unwrite it. But delay does change timing. And timing matters, woven into the fabric of preparation. What was meant for one season may need preparation again, euro, skills sharpened, character deepened, faith tested like gold in fire. What once came easily may now require patience, that rare fruit of the Spirit you are invited to cultivate. This is not cruelty, it is wisdom. Blessings are not just gifts tossed carelessly, they are responsibilities, crowns heavy with purpose. To receive them unprepared is to drop them, as you have before. Heaven waits not to withhold, but to ensure you carry them without losing yourself again. My child, hear me gently now, for I speak not to frighten you, but to awaken what has always been alive within you. This very message reaching you is evidence that you are still held, still seen, still pursued by heaven. If you were truly abandoned, there would be silence inside you, euro, no ache, no questioning, no stirring at all. But that is not your reality. You feel something burning softly in your chest, a holy unrest that refuses to let you settle for less than truth. You feel conviction, not as condemnation, but as light exposing what has been hidden in the shadows. You feel awareness, eyes opening to patterns you once repeated without noticing. You feel longing, a deep and wordless pull towards something purer, safer, eternal. That longing is the memory of home. That is the Father Euro's heartbeat echoing within your own soul. Do not dismiss these feelings. Do not numb them with endless distraction, with noise, with scrolling, with exhaustion disguised as productivity. Do not silence them with denial or bury them under despair. These sensations are not weakness, they are life. They are the sound of your spirit breathing again after a long season of holding its breath. Heaven has not withdrawn from you. Heaven is closer now than you realize, leaning in, waiting for your agreement. Today is not about perfection. Today is about decision. Choose, right now, to break agreement with the habits that drained your strength and blurred your vision. Speak it aloud, even if your voice shakes, I release the chains of delay. I step into alignment. Words spoken in faith carry weight in the unseen realm. Name the things that quietly stole your fire, the endless comparisons that left you feeling small, the comfort of isolation that masqueraded as peace, the procrastination you called rest because facing your calling felt too heavy. Bring them into the light. Renounce their hold, and you will feel €, like a deep exhale, like chains loosening that you forgot you were wearing. The moment you release what drained you, heaven rushes to fill the empty space. Purpose flows where distraction once lived. Clarity settles where confusion reigned. Strength returns where fatigue lingered. This is not because you earned it, but because alignment always restores flow. Remember the path heaven placed before you long ago. It has not disappeared. It still gleams, even if dust has gathered from time and delay. It is not dimmed. It is not withdrawn. It is waiting for your footprint. You do not need to see the entire road. Mystery still covers much of it, and that is by design. Faith is not walking with full visibility, it is taking the next right step with trust. That step may look simple to others but monumental to you. It may be forgiving the wound you revisit in your mind at night. It may be returning to prayer after avoiding it out of shame. It may be choosing discipline where you once chose avoidance, or service where you once chose silence. Take that step. Heaven meets obedience with presence. Angels flank your path, not to rush you, but to steady you, to illuminate just enough of the way so you do not stumble. From the celestial archives, let me remind you that delay has never cancelled calling. There have always been those who were anointed long before they were enthroned, chosen long before they were ready to carry the weight of fulfillment. Time in caves, deserts, and waiting rooms was never punishment it was preparation. Refinement happens in hidden places. Obedience, even after failure, unlocks doors that regret cannot close. Your story is not behind schedule in heaven. It is unfolding with precision, even if your human eyes struggle to see it. Do not measure the blessings coming to you by worldly standards. What awaits you is not shallow reward or fleeting success that fades as soon as applause dies down. What is being prepared for you is deeper, richer, and more enduring than anything numbers, titles, or achievements can define. It is alignment first to peace in your spirit, clarity in your mind, integrity in your choices. From that alignment, blessings do not feel like random miracles you are trying desperately to hold on to. They flow naturally, like a river that finally returns to its true course. You are entering a season where what you receive will not be meant to impress others, but to stabilize you. Relationships mend, not through force, manipulation, or endless arguments, but through softened hearts and honest conversations. Words that once came out sharp and defensive begin to soften with understanding, empathy, and humility. Connections that were strained by ego, fear, or misunderstandings begin to heal in quiet, holy ways. Sometimes this looks like reconciliation, sometimes it looks like release. But in all of it, there is peace instead of torment, trust instead of suspicion, gentleness instead of constant tension. Purpose ignites, not as pressure that weighs on you, but as joy that energizes you. Where you once felt like you were chasing meaning, trying to force your way into relevance, you now find yourself walking in a calling that fits your soul. You no longer try to prove your worth through busyness or performance. Instead, you begin to do what you were created to do with a sense of sacred responsibility and quiet excitement. Even when it stretches you, it still feels right. Even when it costs you, it still feels worth it. This is the fruit of alignment. Provision arrives, not as a desperate rescue at the last possible second every time, but as steady supply. It may not always look like excess, but it will feel like enough. Enough for today. Enough for what is needed. Enough to keep walking, to keep building, to keep trusting. Sometimes the miracle is not in dramatic overflow, but in the quiet consistency of €. There is still enough. €. You begin to see that heaven €'s care for you is not sporadic or selective. It is faithful, intentional, and deeply personal. Prosperity begins in the spirit and then manifests in the physical. You are being led to understand that true abundance is not just money or possession, but holiness €, soundness of mind, rest in your soul, strength in your body, purity in your motives. As this inner prosperity grows, it becomes a magnet for outward blessing that matches your maturity. Doors open not because you fought your way into them, but because you are finally ready to walk through them without losing yourself, your values, or your peace. We angels urge you with tenderness and urgency, begin now. Do not wait for the perfect moment, the perfect mood, or the perfect environment. Perfection is a delay tactic that keeps you bound. Heaven is not waiting for you to be flawless, heaven is waiting for you to be willing. Rise from this reading with resolve, not fear. Decide in your heart that this is not just another beautiful message you will forget, but a turning point €, a line you draw in the sand. Set aside sacred time, even if it feels small. A few minutes of genuine openness is more powerful than an hour of distracted ritual. Let dawn find you in prayer, even if your words are clumsy, even if you feel unsure, even if you do not feel spiritual. Heaven hears the honest heart, not polished language. Let your first thoughts of the day be an invitation, align me. Guide me. Correct me. Lead me. You are not approaching a harsh judge, you are turning toward a loving Father and an army of angels assigned to help you. Journal the ache heaven stirred within you. Write down what hurts, what you regret, what you long for, what you cannot fix in your own strength. Be honest on the page. There is power in bringing your inner world into the light. After you pour out the ache, write the step you will take today, not tomorrow. It may be a small step, a call you need to make, a habit you need to stop, a prayer you need to pray, a decision you've been avoiding. But write it, choose it, and do it. Alignment grows through action, not just intention. When you share what heaven is doing in you, it multiplies courage, not just in you, but in others who are silently longing for the same freedom. Do not underestimate the power of your testimony, even if you feel like you are still in process. You do not have to be a finished to be used. Your honesty about your journey may be the very thing that gives someone else permission to begin theirs. Light spreads when it is revealed, not hidden. Surround yourself with reminders. Let truth live where your eyes can see it. Place words, verses, and promises where you often look, on your walls, your phone screen, your mirror, your work desk. Let them interrupt old thought patterns. Let worship fill the spaces where worry once echoed. Turn on songs that lift your spirit and call your heart higher, even when you don't feel like singing along. Atmosphere matters. What you repeatedly hear and see shapes what you believe and expect. Seek community that sharpens your faith instead of dulling it. You are not meant to walk this path alone. Some people in your life may not understand this season of alignment. They may prefer the version of you that stayed small, inconsistent, or easily influenced. But heaven is inviting you to connect with those who call you upward, who remind you of who you are, who challenge you to choose obedience over comfort. Relationships that honor your spirit, not just your flesh, are part of your blessing. When temptation tugs you backward, when old habits whisper comfort and familiarity, do not try to fight alone. Call on us without hesitation. Speak it plainly, angels of alignment, strengthen my steps. We are dispatched instantly. You are never calling into emptiness. Help is not far away, it is near, ready, and eager. You will feel subtle shifts, a new thought, a nudge to walk away, a sudden memory of truth you needed in that exact moment. Do not dismiss these as coincidence. This is heaven, helping you stay in position. Resistance will try to rise. Old fears will whisper that it is too late, that you wasted too much time, that others have gone further than you, that you are behind. Shame will replay your past, trying to convince you that you disqualified yourself. Weariness will try to convince you that staying still is wisdom, that preserving energy is safer than taking risks, that survival is enough, so why hope for more? Recognize these voices as lies, not guidance. Counter every lie with truth. Heaven's mercy is new every morning, not just once at the beginning of your life. Each day holds fresh permission to begin again. The time you feel you have wasted is not beyond redemption. What you lost is not beyond restoration when placed in divine hands. You are not behind, you are being repositioned. Your soul was designed for this path, and it knows when it is moving in the right direction. Listen to that inner confirmation. It may come as peace, as conviction, as a holy discomfort with where you used to be. Feel the pull forward. It is stronger now because you are stronger now. You have survived what tried to break you. You have learned from what once confused you. Even in your weakest moments, something in you refused to fully give up. That resilience was not accidental, it was evidence of Heaven's hand on your life. Momentum rebuilds quickly when obedience replaces hesitation. 1 euro today can carry more weight than 100 euro from your past. Picture what restoration looks like for you. Not in fantasy, where problems magically vanish without growth, but in wholeness. See yourself waking up without the heavy dread that used to greet you. See your mind calmer, your heart lighter, your body healthier, your decisions clearer. Imagine habits transformed not by force or sheer willpower alone, but by desire changing at the root. What you once craved that harmed you becomes less appealing. What you once avoided that healed you becomes your new normal. Prayers are answered not always loudly and dramatically, but consistently, in ways that leave no doubt of divine involvement. A closed door that would have harmed you. A conversation that comes at just the right time. A resource arriving just when you need it. Guidance that redirects you before you fall into an old trap. Blessings falling like rain on ground that was once cracked and dry. At first, it may feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable, to be this cared for, but you will learn to receive without suspicion. No more cycles of starting and stopping, hoping and collapsing, promising and forgetting. Instead, a steady rhythm, grace and discipline working together, heaven and earth aligned. Grace empowers you to rise when you stumble, and discipline teaches you how to keep walking without constantly returning to the same pit. There will still be challenges, but they will no longer define you. You will not see yourself as someone who always fails, but as someone who always returns, always rises, always keeps moving forward. See yourself carrying what is entrusted to you with humility and strength. Not crushed by it, overwhelmed by the weight of responsibility, nor proud because of it, using it to elevate yourself above others. Instead, you walk in gratitude, aware that every gift, every opportunity, every open door is a trust, not a trophy. You will know what it means to be blessed but not boastful, elevated but still grounded, visible but still rooted in the unseen. Your life becomes a quiet testimony, not of perfection, but of faithfulness. Others will look at you and sense something different, a peace that cannot be explained by circumstances, a steadiness that was forged through battles, not given cheaply. You may never announce the depth of what you overcame, but it will be felt. The way you respond to storms, the way you treat people, the way you choose integrity even when no one is watching you, it will all speak loudly, without you having to force anything. Through you, impact will ripple further than you imagine, touching lives you may never meet. A word you speak, a post you share, a prayer you pray in private, a kindness you offer without recognition, these become seeds. Heaven knows where each one lands. You may only see a small part of the harvest in this life, but eternity will reveal just how far your yes traveled. This is your moment, beloved. Not because everything is ideal, not because all circumstances lined up neatly, but because you are willing. The path is calling you by name. You are not imagining this tug toward change, this desire for more alignment, this hunger for authenticity and depth. It is heaven drawing you. Step forward. We meet you there. We go before you, beside you, and behind you. Alignment restores what was scattered. Your attention, your heart, your energy, your focus, all the pieces that felt fragmented and out of order begin to come together. It gathers what was lost, hope, confidence, sensitivity to the divine, your sense of worth. It heals what was broken without erasing the story. Your past is not erased, it is redeemed. The scars remain, but they no longer sting. They become markers of where grace intervened. And when alignment is restored, blessings will follow naturally. Not because you begged heaven in frantic desperation, trying to convince God to hear you, but because you are finally ready to carry what is released without losing yourself again. You grow into the blessing before the blessing comes, so that when it arrives, it fits you. You no longer sabotage what you prayed for. You no longer flee what you are meant to steward. Heaven is already rejoicing. The sound you feel in your spirit is celebration, not condemnation. The stirring, the restlessness, the holy dissatisfaction with where you've been, that is evidence that something new is opening. Walk on. Take the next step, even if it is small, even if it feels unnoticed. Every aligned step matters. Do not look back with regret, rehearsing every misstep, replaying every wrong turn. Look back only to recognize how far grace has brought you, then look forward with trust. The one who began a good work in you is not abandoning it halfway. We are with you, now and always. You are guided. You are guarded. You are growing. And as you align, you will not just receive blessing, you will become one.